What's up, everybody? I'm Marco Messina.
And I'm Michael Cantaris.
And welcome to Italian Football TV.
He deserves it. You already know who we're clapping about.
Antonio Conte has clinched the title on his very first try in England with Chelsea Football Club. 2 games to go in the Premier League. Antonio did exactly what we expected.
Amazing. Remember in the garage, filming those videos, talking about when he finally moved to the Premier League to Chelsea. We were saying, this is the man. He's going to be the one that's going to rejuvenate Chelsea.
And the amount of criticism that we received and negative comments that we got for saying that Antonio was going to replicate exactly what he did with Juventus and with the Italian national team for Chelsea. He did it like a playbook. At Juventus, he started out with a broken team who was not performing the way they should have. He took a team who did not deserve in quality of the players to win the Scudetto, and he just did with Chelsea virtually the same team as last year in the Premier League, and even a Premier League that was almost better and more competitive with Manchester United spending so much money and Manchester City getting Pep Guardiola, an incredible manager who came to the Premier League and in his first season struggled to adapt to it, but Antonio had no glimpse, no glitch. Yeah, it was perfect.
I agree. Maybe a little bit towards the end, he was messing up a little bit, but you gotta give him for this amazing.
Can't be perfect.
Can't be perfect. Yeah, you gotta give him to this amazing season. He only got like, well, maybe 2 or 3 new transfers, but the rest of it.
Batshuayi, who scored the winning goal today.
That's right. Conte, one of the biggest keys in the team.
Before I cut you off, just giving credit to his substitution of putting Batshuayi in. This guy just understands football. What were you gonna say?
Yeah. I want to go to you. Conte is amazing. He won the Premier League with Leicester last season, now with Chelsea with this season. Really shows what kind of player he is. But yeah, I was talking about Conte in general. He just bought a few new players and then just whipped every other player back into the team that he wanted. That's what he does. If you don't play for Conte, you're not going to be playing on the team.
And that's the thing that I was going to say when you're talking about Conte. I mean, to me, it's not about Conte. To me, it's not about Hazard. To me, it's not about Costa. To me, it's not about David Luiz. It's not one player. It's never been one player for Conte. When Costa was having these problems where he might have gotten a Chinese offer or whatever, Conte does not care about the individual player. He will leave someone off if they are not performing. I mean, look at Marcos Alonso. Marcos Alonso was a averagely good player with Fiorentina. He was not a champion of England, but putting him together with this kind of team under a coach and the guidance of an Antonio Conte, and also same thing like Victor Moses. They're just like Giaccherini type players who Conte gets the best out of. They give everything that they have, and tactically on the pitch, they know exactly what they do because Conte reads the game to a T and makes sure they execute on what they need to do.
No, I agree, and they were getting so much criticism when Alonso came to Chelsea. A lot of Chelsea fans were like, "Oh, he's not good. He's not a champion."
And I understand why. And same thing for Conte. When he arrived, they said, "Oh, he won it in a shit Serie A league," or he lost with Italy in the Euros. When meanwhile, Italy had such a terrible team, but Conte made them go against Germany, who was the best team in Europe, and he went knock for knock to them. They went to penalties. Yeah. I mean, Conte is a magnificent coach. He gets the bad rep of that one bad Champions League season that he had with Juventus for not doing better. That was only his 2nd time ever in Champions League. Now with Chelsea, he led them not only to the Champions League, which was the ultimate goal for Chelsea this season, was just to get top 4. But Conte does not play for 2nd place or 4th place in that case. He wants the top, and staying so humble. Right after the game, first thing he says when they're applauding him, the presenter was like, "Congratulations, Antonio, you did all this." He goes, No. He goes, "It's my players." That humbleness of him and learning the way that he's overcome the English language and all of this stuff. And you see like a manager like Pep Guardiola, everything that he's achieved, and he still struggled to go into the Premier League with Conte in such a young career as a coach. How much he has achieved is simply magnificent. Love him or hate him, you cannot deny the results.
I completely agree with you, Marco. And I also want to talk about, this is how you know he's really a champion. After the thing, they celebrate and all, but he said he wants to win a double. They're already thinking about the FA Cup and how he wants to win the double in England. And that just shows he stops the celebration early. We all saw him at the press conference afterwards. David Luiz and Costa took him out early. They were just celebrating, but his eye is always on winning the next thing. That really separates him from the other coaches.
The thing I really love, I mean, Conte afterwards, he was like, "Why aren't you in the locker room yet?" He's like, "I'm finishing up interviews." He goes, "Trust me, I'm going to celebrate with my players because there's a time where we've been working hard, and the time to celebrate is just as important because it reimburses everything that they built towards." But again, the thing I love about Conte is last week against Middlesbrough, when they went down to the second division in England, clapping his fans. He's not one to get into that drama like a Mourinho or that drama like some other coaches and get caught up in the prize. His head is there and he builds up the emotions of people. I love that. I love him.
And he doesn't have any mind games. He's just straightforward, a humble coach, and he does amazing things.
The only mind game he has is work, work, work.
That's true. I want to say a couple of stats right now. So the past 8 Premier League titles, 4 Italian coaches won it. We got Ancelotti, Mancini, Ranieri, and now Conte.
How can you...
insane.
This goes to how Serie A is so good and Italians are so good. All of these guys came from Serie A. They all originated from our league, and they are going to dominate in the top leagues. Ancelotti in Bayern, he already wrapped up the league. Carrera in Russia. First time in 12 years, he wraps up the league. Antonio Conte, on his first try in England, wraps up the league. Massimiliano is in the Champions League final and winning the Scudetto with Juventus. I mean, it's incredible what these Italian managers, the era that we're in, maybe the Serie A is not doing that well, but the era of Italian managers, for as long as I've been watching football, it's probably the best I've ever seen.
I definitely agree. We knew what pedigree they have, and they're almost dominating almost all the top 5 European leagues. I want to move on to the next one. Antonio Conte has won the title in 4 successive seasons as a club manager.
Yep.
3 times at Juventus, and now this time with Chelsea.
Yep.
I want to say a couple of quotes that he said. The players showed the will to try to do something great. This win is for them. It's great to win it in my first season.
Yeah.
That says everything. And he says one last quote. He says, "I dedicate the victory to my family. They remained in Italy and it wasn't easy this year."
Yeah.
We knew the struggles that he wanted to bring his family to England because they're in Italy, and he was by himself too. He didn't have his family with him, so that's another hardship, another challenge. Plus he had to learn English. There were so many hardships moving, especially in the first season.
Conte is just a huge inspiration just for me, just because that first year that I watched him with Juventus, I did not want him at Juventus. I'm a Juventus fan. I said, who is Antonio Conte? I knew him as a player, but I said, who is he as a coach? He was coaching in Siena, and not a big name that you wanted to rejuvenate, reignite at Juventus. Yeah. But I saw his preseason and the way that he dedicated the work and the precise detail oriented that he was, the way that he made these players run. I immediately at that moment fell in love with his methods, because he's also, first Southern Italian coach to become the Italian national team coach. He's overcome so much, and he is the true epitome of hard work can get you where you want. He always says, as a player, I was never the most talented, but I worked my ass off to be in this team. And he says the same thing with his coaching career. He says he almost sleeps, he says, at Chelsea's training ground because he's working so hard to make sure everything is to perfection. That's just inspiration for me, for Italian Football TV, for everything. He was a huge part about my life. When Juventus was in a bad moment, he was a real reference point to me and got me through a lot of big things. So he's got a strong place in my heart.
No, for sure.
And I know many people will get mad and say I'm a Conte fanboy. Yeah, I am. Simply like that.
I mean, if he's such a great person, a great humble coach, and he's obsessed with work. And there's like no secret to this. It's just his hard work and his persistence. That's why he does so well, I think.
One missed part, and being a great guy, building up for other people.
Yeah,
I think that I just love that part of him. Whether it's just for the cameras or whatever you want to believe, still it's better than some of the other things that we've seen, guys. I'm sure you were excited if you're Chelsea fans. If you were just Italians like us, I mean, not a Serie A fan, an Italian fan, you've got to be excited for Conte to do this. Put your thoughts in the comment section below. Let us know if you followed Conte's journey and what is he going to do next year? Is he going to do well?
I wish he goes back to the Serie A, but
no, he's not going to go.
Chelsea,
Guys, let us know in the comments and we'll talk to you soon.
Ciao,
ragazzi.